everyone a chance to come into the space, settle into their bodies. Inviting them to, the pregnant mommies, to place their hands on their belly. Connecting with the life force inside. The intelligence of the body. And also, it's really important before we start any project or endeavor to give ourselves permission to fully be here. Committed to the practice and taking this time for yourself. Whether it's for self-care or learning. Becoming conscious of the breath and its flow. Now, the challenge for long-term yogis that are newly pregnant will be not using ujjayi. So, remembering to watch the breath, but also relinquishing control over it. And surrendering to the intelligence of the body, the intelligence of prana flow. The energy knows where to go. Setting your intention for your practice. An invitation to dedicate your practice to your little one. Using your hands to help your knees together, feet flat on the floor. Kind of roll to one side and then press up to a seated position. And we'll want to place the bolsters that are behind us, at least one under our body. So easy pose. One heel in front of the pubic bone, the other in front of the ankle. And then, of course, noticing which one you always bring in first. You don't need to change anything. And we'll bring hands to knees and begin to whirlpool around. Now, any whirlpooling action just feels great to the pregnant body. And again, this is a feminine spiral. So a few whirls in one direction, and whenever it feels right, just go ahead and switch. Really sensing the pelvic bowl. Spilling the belly forward, spilling the back body behind you. It's funny because as soon as I said that, everybody like slowed down and really dropped in, like, oh, okay. Before it was kind of superficial, the difference between lifting the arms or lifting from the hara. So eyes closed is always great. Getting into the rib cage because the diaphragm can be tight. So you might start with the spirals down deep and then work them up into the belly and the lower ribs. If you want to bring your hands to your side body, it's good too. You know, the kidney space can get crunchy, so if you find anything that is a little sticky, spending some time, and even directing your breath into the kidney space on your hands. And let's do some pelvic tilts. So bring the hands to the knees and round back. And then pubic bone down, heart lifts. So this would essentially replace your cats and your cows. Start you for it. Sucking the tailbone under, pubic bone up, and pubic bone down. Lifting the heart. If it feels good, you can let your head rock back. Around the upper body. The shoulders curl forward and the chest concave. And inhale, spill forward. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and down. And exhale, round it out. Just get a little flow. And we'll sit up nice and tall. Walk the right fingertips out. And bring your left ear to your left shoulder. Internal and external rotations are going to be great, as well as your mudras. So turning the palm up, turning the palm down. You can roll out the wrist. Reaching the fingertips away until you feel a stretch running down the arm. We're going to roll that shoulder back and down. And if you'd like to increase, you can extend the left fingertips up right on top of the ear and apply a little bit more pressure, 5 breaths. Softening the throat, natural breath, full natural breath. Release hands to knees, chin to chest, round the back. And spill the pelvis forward, lift the heart. 2 or 3 more breaths, rounding as you exhale. Getting into the shoulders, chin to chest, breathing through the nose, inhale. Now, especially with pregnant ladies, if they need to breathe out through the mouth at any time. Especially if they feel like they're getting overheated. So this might be where you would teach a cooling breath. So come to a nice tall spine, and if you guys were all pregnant, this is where I'd be like, okay, if at any time you feel like you're getting overheated and you want to breathe through the mouth, curl the tongue. And inhale. This is to cool the brain. Cooling breath. The guys, the Navy SEALs in Afghanistan use this. Now, if somebody can't curl their tongue, genetically some people can't, they can curl this way, and then they have the 2 sides. And then bring chin to chest, right ear, right shoulder. Should walk the left fingertips out the side of the hip. Turn the palm up, spiraling the thumb open, and then rotate the thumb down. Like pick up the shoulder, draw it back and down. And the stretch in the scalenes, sternocleidomastoid, even open and close the jaw into the mandible. Lots of jaw clenching, pregnant or not. Lift and lower the chin slightly. Settling into a nice stretch if you'd like to increase. Right arm comes up, fingertips just above the ear and apply a little bit of pressure. Just to light up the stretch a bit. And 5 breaths. Full breaths. Oxygenating the system. Exhaling slow. Hands to the knees, chin to the chest, so rolling down, and we'll round the upper back. Curling the tailbone under. Spill the pelvis forward, lift the belly, lift the heart. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale, round. 2 more times. Alright, so we've warmed up the spine, we've gotten into the body, now we'll open into the side body. So walk the right fingertips out beside the hips, left arm comes up and over. So stability. Stability. So you got your right hand there on the ground. Roll the right shoulder back and down. You might even bend the elbow a little. And look up at your left hand and then down at your right wrist. You might inhale, come up a little bit, get a little longer, looking up at your palm. And exhale, reach, look down at your right wrist. One more time. Body likes 3s. And taking it a little bit deeper. Now you might come on to your elbow or forearm. Keeping the left hip grounded. Let's sweep the left arm across the body. So come forward. And we'll bring the left fingertips out beside the left hip. Right arm reaches up. Switching sides. So inhale for length on the right side body and exhale, reach. Now it might be difficult to look up at the palm, so you can always just gaze down or switch. Inhale, come up a little bit, look up at the palm, and then exhale, reach. Keep looking at the top hand, and then look down at the left wrist. Inhale, lift up, look up, exhale, reach. Keep looking up, and once you've got as far as you can, turn the gaze down. Rotating the neck one more time. And then we'll take it to our edge. Walking maybe the left fingertips out further or lowering the forearm and elbow. Gaze can be up or down. If you look up, roll the side body open. And exhale, look down, swing that right hand around. And walk the hands over to the right. We'll do this one more time on each side. Inhale, left arm up and over. Finding your deepest stretch. Grounding that left hip. And exhale, crossing the body over to that left side. And it feels so good. Let's just do it one more time. Right hand sweeps down and around. Left arm up. Another side. Move at your own pace. Let your fingertips drag. Feel the texture of the mat and the floor. Feel the temperature of your breath. And we'll meet at center. So bring the hands forward. Now, you might do that again and have them switch feet, right? But I'm not going to do that. So soles of the feet together for butterfly pose. And you can bring your blocks underneath your knees. Bring your other bolster in front. So this is how I would approach butterfly pose for the pregnant ladies. So that the knees are supported. We're not going to overstretch. And then we have a bolster. Now you can also bring in a block under your bolster here. let's just start with the right cheek.
My belly's too big. My belly does really get big.
Try another block. Like, do it this way. So if you don't reach, bring the bolster up to you. Is that better? Can you fit there now?
Yeah. Because I know the rope belly would kind of adjust a little bit better in this bean bag.
The dense bean bag. Try to maybe take the end of the bolster and put it on your feet. So some might want it like in between their heels and their legs. If you couldn't quite make it there, you could put the bolster a little bit further. And these particular ones, the blue ones, fold up real nice. So this is also great for a yin class if you are holding poses for a longer period of time. And you will take a bit of a yin approach in a prenatal class. Remembering that if you're resting on one cheek to switch. A few breaths into the floating ribs and the lower back. The SI joint. Sacrum. Directing breath is fine. Slowly come up. Move our props to the side and find tabletop. Once you get to tabletop, circles in the hips. Always circling it out in prenatal. And a lot of these concepts, are just good practice in any asana class. So you're educating about synovial fluid, lubricating the hips. And we'll start with our tilt. So finding neutral, draw the navel into the spine and slide the shoulder blades down the back. You want to lower the chin so your forehead is parallel to the floor. Crown of the head forward. And from the navel down, we'll begin to curl the tailbone under and stop right at the navel. So we're not coming into a full cat. And then flip the hips up, spilling the belly forward, and again stop at the navel. So your sternum and forehead will stay parallel to the floor. So exhale, scoop out the deep lower belly, curl the tailbone under. You're rounding the lower back. We'll concentrate on isolating the lumbar spine and pelvic tilt. Press all 10 toes down to the ground. And then flip the hips up. Spill the belly forward and try that a few times. And let's take a block and place one back between our ankles. Actually, let's take two back between our ankles to start. And then we'll sit down onto the blocks. So just to give this a little bit more tactile awareness, we're going to take one of the blocks between our ankles, and then we'll take a block between the knees on the narrow edge. And we're going to try that again. So now we're going to squeeze the block between our ankles and knees and try that pelvic tilt one more time. Flipping the hips up, spilling the belly forward, and curl the tailbone under, round the lower back, scoop out the deep lower belly. Now just this action alone increases the heat in my body. And then you can feel all the wrapping of the side body and the obliques and the inner thighs. If the block between your feet is too wide, I'm going to try and maybe narrow it. That's too, you can take 2. That's too wide too. That's not bad. If it feels right, go with it. If it needs a little adjustment, play with turning the blocks on their side. Alright, so let's just come into a twist. Finding neutral spine, navel points towards the ground. Now you can twist from the upper body, not the lower body. So this is a good example of pointing the navel towards the ground and lifting the left arm up. And left hand comes down. Switching sides, navel points towards the ground, right arm reaches up. So this twist is okay. You're twisting from the shoulders and the neck, but keeping the navel pointing down towards the ground. And you can wrap the top arm around the back body, you get into the shoulders, flap your wing. Blocks forward. Now sometimes coming into cat with the blocks will help move it into the upper body. So that is an option to come into a rounded upper back cat tuck. You got a little bit more space for the diaphragm and the belly if you come up on the blocks. So, and then reach the heart forward. Exhale, round. Now since we're set up on the blocks, this is a great opportunity to start working arm strength. So press all 10 toes down to the ground. And we're just going to lower the chest down between the blocks. Elbows in towards the side body. Only as far as you're comfortable, and lift up on an inhale. So shoulder blades down the back. Activate solar plexus, and we'll start to wake up the arms. So I'm prepping you for your cat bows right now. Just waking up the arms, warming up the body. Concentrating on shoulder stabilization, sliding the scapulas down the back. So lots of space between the tops of your shoulders and your ears. Shoulders down the back. Remember this? YTT 200. Cat bows are hard. Alright. And then we'll come up. Arms long. Point the right toes straight back. Press out through the heel. Nice calf stretch. Let's do 5 lifts. So lifting the leg up, so heel in line with hip. Activate and tapping down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Shoulder blades down the back, heart forward. Spiral the elbows in. Go. And then we can bend the knee, draw the heel towards the glute. And extend. A couple times. Curling the leg, heel towards glute. Pressing out. right foot across that left ankle, and turn your gaze over. Turn your gaze over the left shoulder. Is that good?
Yeah.
Hello. Hi. Awesome. Thank you.
I was going to get a helmet because my daughter left the helmet at the house. So
Okay.
I'm going to put it in the car when she gets out.
Okay. Just come back.
Thank you.
Alright, we'll come back. Now, here's where I might have them swing their knee around to their elbow just for a little lift, and then back. To the side, to their elbow, 3 times. And you could even bring that, those 2 poses together just to make it a little bit bigger. It feels good. So where you wouldn't crunch in, forehead to knee, but you can always take it out to the side. And then maybe range of motion, a few big circles with that right knee. Fire hydrant, couple in one direction. This will be good counter from yesterday. Couple in the other. And right knee comes down. So we'll do the other side. Step the left foot back. Reach out through the heel. So toes are down. Curled under. You can feel the ball mounds of your back foot. And press the neck of your right foot into the floor. Pressing down into your right shin for stability. Shin, ankle, toes. Heart is reaching forward, shoulder blades sliding down. And then lead with the heart, lift off the left foot. And we'll lift and lower a few times. Exhale, tap the toes down. Inhale, lift the heel up. Activating your left glute. 3 more rounds. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower softly. Tap. Few curls, keeping the leg lifted, draw the heel towards the glute. I gotta definitely feel what we did yesterday. Good job, Mallory. Quad killer. I'll step the left foot way back, cross it over the right ankle, and turn your gaze over the right shoulder. So big side body stretch. Few breaths. And we'll bring the left knee to the left elbow. So take it to the side. And then you can step it way back. Turn your gaze over the right shoulder again if you want to make this movement really big. Left knee, left elbow. One more time. And moving into range of motion. So big circles, moving in one direction, and then the other. Now after this, heat is building in the body, right? Child's pose. So take the knees wide, bring in your bolster. You would place it maybe on top of a block or 2. Depending on your size, so that you're lots of space for your belly. You're still supported. What's up, Stanley? You want to my baby? My baby Stanley? I like your wriggly toes. So if you're building heat, you want to give the pregnant ladies a chance to cool down. We're going to build some heat again. And plus, we're about to go into real cat bows. So, a little bit of a break. Rolling out the wrists since we were on all fours. So let's come to a natural seat. If you need to, you can bring that bolster underneath your bottom or sit on a block, and we'll take a moment to roll out the wrists. So with the rolling out of the wrists and the introduction of the mudras, remember these. They're so easy to forget, and they're so beautiful to bring into any practice. Taking the time to roll out the wrists, especially in a group of girls. The guys tend to go with it too. They're like, yeah, flowy, and you can go, oh. Indian dance. And then turning the fingers down on the left hand, right hand comes on top. Extending out. That wrist stretch. And then turning the fingers down. That way. And switch. Palm out, fingers down. And then palm down, fingers down. Back of the hand. Front of the wrist. Okay, so I'll demonstrate cat bow and then we'll do it together. So here's what we can do. We can use 3 blocks if that's available to us. It's not necessary. But we want a stopper for the chest in case we lose our balance. If we were really pregnant, then we might fall forward. And then you can take your bolster, 1 or 2, and place it, you want it pubic bone level. So it'll hold on to your hip bones. So pubic bone, hip bone level. And then your fingertips are in line with your blocks, the middle of your blocks. So you're in your tabletop. And you bring your hands on top of the blocks. And the middle block is for your sternum. Now, what people tend to do, Crystal was just doing it, I know you guys, if you've taught this, have already seen it, the lead with their face and try and bring their face to the block, as opposed to gliding forward and lowering their chest down onto the block. So that's your bumper. And elbows in towards the side body, really concentrating on the shoulder blades down the back. And the palms flat. Fingertips, it's almost as if they're sliding forward. Slide forward, your whole body. Yep. So that if the shoulders are crunching up towards the ears, then we're misaligned. Try the bolster, or excuse me, the middle block in further. So for my body, the middle block is about 4 or 5 inches behind the blocks for the hand. So this will help slide the shoulder blades down. So you're still getting some upper body workout, grounding through the necks of the feet, all 10 toes. Why is teaching cat bow so important even to your normal population?
Chaturanga.
It's the predecessor for chaturanga, yeah. What happens most of the time is people end up doing this as opposed to having the shoulder blades down the back. This would be humerus depth, groin depth, humerus stabilization, keeping all of this down the back. The groin being tight is very similar to the ears and the shoulders scrunching together. You can think of your traps as like in this area. That's similar to the groin. So remembering the bolster for the hips is important just in case they do fall forward, so that if they fall onto their space for the belly. But this is also something that you would want to use for somebody with lower back pain that can't come into Cobra or Up Dog. I did this once with a student who had 2 babies, and when we were learning Cobra and Up Dog, she was like, I can't do it. So having something to really press the pelvis into keeps the tailbone down and the lower back elongated, so that L3, L4 aren't so crunchy. Do you feel that? Yeah. So now let's try what we were talking about with a block between your feet. Do it on the narrow level so that you can really press your big toe ball mounds into the sides of the block while you're lowering down. The pubic bone presses into the bolster. And maybe now you can lift the knees up off the floor. Come into your pinky toe edges of your feet. You can sickle foot here too. So all 10 toes press evenly into the floor while you're squeezing the big toe ball mounds into the sides of the floor. And then the heat rises, right? It doesn't take much. It's just the activation of everything, and then that's when you know. So here's where Ujjayi, if you were really relaxed and the heat was rising, would start to occur naturally without having to force it. So as you hold this pose and you feel the heat rise, relax the throat. My back just cracked. Lovely. And then come out whenever you're ready. Lower the knees. You've got the bolsters there, so you can just sit back towards the heels. So you still feel productive. And now we'll move into our side planks. So let's come onto all fours, and we'll turn the right toes out, step the left foot back, swivel the heel down. So wrist, knee, arch of back foot are all in line. Now if you were pregnant and your wrists were bothering you, tenting the fingers or making a fist here would be beneficial. Now for pregnant ladies especially, I'd bring that left hand to the lower back and bump your hips back and forth a few times, almost like a water pump. So bump the hips back and then draw them forward. That feels good. And as you draw the hips forward, bring the tailbone towards your left heel. So you draw the tailbone down, and a diagonal. Inhale, hips back. One more time. And we'll draw the hips as far forward as we comfortably can. You can turn the gaze up, look at your left hand, or look down at the ground. Reach your left fingertips overhead. Circles here. All right, now here's where it's really good to come around and help with finding length on the right side body, or you can extend the arm over. If they had a baby, I might bring their hand down to their lower belly and then help them roll open, so they can connect. So I'll come over and do a little exploration with you guys as you play. So move as you see fit. Bring awareness to the side body. And make contact with your wrists. Let's say we're going over this way. Fingers. Forget about that one. Most of the stuff is just in my muscle memory. time for you to sit back and roll out your wrists in between. And we'll swivel the left toes out, step your right foot back, heel down, wrist, knee, arch your back foot. All in one straight line. And bring the right hands to the sacrum, bump your hips back and forth. Sliding that left shoulder blade down the back. And hips as far forward as you comfortably can. Right arm can reach up towards the sky. And exploring, reaching over the head. But wiggle your fingers. And like a big power chord. Right arm comes down. Air guitar. Alright, and then I'm going to bring out my sloth claw. My two-toed sloth claw, and help with the scapula stabilization. So, that'll be quick. I remember how to do this. Yeah. Sloth claw. Good. Like, sloth claw. Or two-toed sloths. Yeah. More breaths and come on down. And neutralize. It's still effective. It doesn't have to be crazy power vinyasa. You can do that too. Not conducive for learning much, so. Right, we'll take a quarter turn to the left on our mats. Prepping for gate pose. So in gate, you know, you can always, if we were pregnant, it would be wise to have them bring their blocks forward and extend the little start on the right. Extend the right leg out. And walk the blocks in, bring the hands to the hips so they're nice and sturdy. So right foot is flexed, toes up towards the sky. Now soften the right knee just a little bit, pressing your heel into the ground. And then we'll reach the left arm straight up. So we want length on that left side body. And you can start to slide the right hand down the leg, above the knee, and then reach. Now, if you need some more stability, you could also bring the block to outside of the right knee. Inhale up for length. Release tailbone down. And stretch again. So inhale all the way up. So Mallory, soften your right knee and release tailbone down. There you go. So keep that length and then reach. So remember, if we're pregnant, the belly's spilling forward naturally. So go ahead and let your belly spill forward so you can feel that. All right. And then come back up all the way. Yeah. Maybe just the fingertips on the block. So we're not relying on the block anymore. Release tailbone down, keep it, and then reach. So this is actually going to deepen the stretch on the side body. Try just one more so that you're not having to lean on the block so much. And then externally rotate the upper leg. Internally rotate the lower leg. And soften the knee right here. Yep. Everybody feel that super big stretch on the left side body? And we'll straighten your leg a little more. Or front. So now draw the femur head more into the socket. There you go. You feel how it kicks it into the outside of the left hip a bit more by coming into that socket? That's groin depth, femur grounding. So if you guys will come out for just a second, so for Crystal, I want you guys to see the cue that I just gave her. Can you go back to the way that you are? Yeah. So she was here, and the femur head isn't all the way in the socket. So I asked her to lengthen her leg and draw femur head into socket. And now it kicks it over into that other hip. So the femur head's all the way in the socket, where before it was kind of hanging out of the socket, which shifted the stretch. Subtle. Alright, so hands on the blocks. Alright, what do we have? Right foot forward. Now here's also, you can also do some pumps here. If you turn the right toes down, you can do some cat bows. Just to keep building some strength, and it goes with the theme of the practice. And also it gets into the inner thigh a little bit more. And plus the nice stretch in the outside of the ankle and the grounding through the pinky toe edge of the foot. And then drawing the right knee in to meet the left. Make nice, shift the hip side to side. And we'll send the left foot out. So preparing for a gate on the left toes up. So an external rotation of the left thigh. If you want to bring your left hand there, help the leg roll out. Now as the upper thigh is in an external rotation, you really want to press into the big toe ball mound to keep the lower leg in an internal rotation. And then hands to the hips. Up. Release the tailbone down. If you want to set your block up to the outside of that left knee. Now we don't want to lean on the block. It's just there as a bumper, if you will. Because we want to keep the work and the lift in that left side body. And if we rely too much on the block, go ahead and try that. Just kind of collapse onto the block and feel how the left side body crunches up. Right? We want to keep the lift on the left side body. So this is the same concept in back bends. If you let the back body get short and crunchy, then we run the risk of injury. It's the length and the lift of the back body that facilitates the opening of the front body. So now we're just turning that same concept with the side body on its side. So that left side body has to stay super, super long so that you can get more of a stretch on that right side body. So we're not going to use the block just yet. Bring the left hand to the thigh, upper thigh, and right arm reaches straight up. So there's a straight line of energy from your right fingertips pressing down into your knee. Release tailbone down. All right, so now the pelvis is set up. Soften your left knee just a little bit, finding neutral in the joint. And then we can start to slide the left hand down the leg when we reach back for the block. And a little pulsing as you inhale. It's naturally going to lift you up a little bit. Create more length, and then exhale, find more depth. Let your femur head on that left side sink into the socket. So it goes into the pelvis. And I'm going to come around, again, 2 fingers soft, and now help you find depth in that left groin. Since you saw it with Crystal, and hopefully you'll be able to feel it. Yep, in the socket. Soften the inside of your left knee. To draw the femur head in. Soften the knee again. There you go. You will benefit from this too. The femur head go in and down. Tailbone under. Soften here. Yeah, and if you have somebody that tends to lock out and pyramid in their front knee, they're going to lock out here too.
this is also a really great prep for pyramid. So look down at your kneecap, and you want to rotate the upper thigh out so the kneecap's pointing straight up towards the sky. Now, if you're extremely externally rotated, you might already be there. In that case, your work would probably be from the knee down. And finding that that balance between the external rotation of the upper thigh and the internal rotation of the lower leg. Yeah, and play with the knee. The inside and the outside of the knee. So maybe you feel a little bit more pressure on the inside of the joint or the outside of the joint. Can you even that out? That's the Chinese finger cuffs. Yeah, when you really pay attention to these concepts, you just can't get bored. There's always something to work with. So we'll come on up. Bring the hands forward onto our blocks. Turn the left toes down. That nice stretch in the inner thigh. And if you'd like to lower the chest down into the blocks, just lifting and lowering, real gentle. Okay, so now left knee comes down. Here is where we can move into Malasana, but in order to get there, I'd like to take you up into a wide-legged forward fold first, because it would make lots of sense to the body this way. And you're already set up, it's easy to get there. So we'll enjoy a wide-legged forward fold. You might let the head go down. You can let the forearms rest on the blocks. Wiggle the hips. We take the blocks over to the right foot. Come into a little squat for Skandasana. Left toes up. And we'll switch from side to side. So walking the hands over to the left, take the blocks with you. We'll maybe crush your wrists. A little more ease of movement. Walking the blocks from the right to the left, and the left to the right, at your own pace. If you notice any differences in your inner thighs, your ankles. Alright, now this is not accessible to everybody, especially if there's knee issues. So if your knees are problematic or troublesome, just keep the hips up in the air. You don't have to sit all the way down onto your ankle. That comes later. But if somebody did want to sit on their ankle, and since we do have so many blocks available to us, you could always have them sit on a block. And they get a little toe stand action too. But if the lower back and the knees are, if there's issues in our tissues, people like that one. Keeping the bottom in the air. And we know that if we're pregnant, that more than likely our ankles might be swollen. There's probably some fluid around the knees. Austin and I were joking about the operation game, because there's things like water on the knee. Bubby's just like, it's a broken heart. We're like, don't worry, Bubby's, it'll heal. Alright, so we'll come back to wide-legged forward fold, heel toe in, and here's where we'll enjoy our squat pose. So let's take a block and put it down for our bottom. And we'll sit low. Now, if we were really pregnant, we probably need more than one block. At least, and I would suggest, especially with pregnant ladies, that you put the blocks flat instead of one high. And just good practice. You're more likely to fall even with these 30 blocks if it's just one. Alright, so lots to do in our Malasana. Lifting the arches of the feet, bringing hands to prayer. We can start there. You can squeeze the knees into the elbows, and then press the elbows into the knees and lift the heart. Yeah, relax the shoulder blades down the back. Soften the pit of the throat. I forgot to bring the wedge, I'm sorry.
So if someone's heels didn't touch the ground, you might roll up a mat underneath, or a mat or a blanket underneath their heels. You can extend your right fingertips out, left arm reaches up, give it a little twist. So navel points forward. Always, whenever you're twisting with your pregnant ladies, that's your cue. Navel forward, hands to prayer. Navel forward, extend the left fingertips out, right arm reaches up. And flow at your own pace. Two blocks, and bring them out front. And we'll lift our bottom up and down a few times. So lifting and lowering, coming into our squat. So coming into a forward fold with the blocks, head below the heart, and then lower the hips, sit into your squat, and lift and lower at your leisure. Rounding into the heels. It's important to keep all of these muscles strong. That's what she would always say in the prenatal class to get ready for birth. Meeting a wide-legged forward fold. So you can click the heels out. And the stance is a little shorter than before. So just enough space for your belly to get in between your thighs. So not a super wide forward fold. Bring the hands to the hips. Squeeze the elbows up towards the sky and come up with a flat back. We'll move into goddess here since we're already prepped for it. Toes out, heels in. And we'll sit down into goddess. And we'll lift and lower. So inhale to 5-pointed star. Release from your moon salves. Exhale into goddess. Inner thighs rolling out. Tailbone down. Now, since we're side body focused for the pregnant ladies, goddess with some support, bring your right elbow onto your knee, and then you can hold the baby. So your bottom hand holds the baby, and then the top arm reaches up. This is nice, yeah. Kind of feel like a moon here. And then you can meet 5-pointed star. Take a little break with the legs. Natural breath. Back to goddess. A few breaths. Good thing we're not pregnant. It's like, yeah. And then left elbow onto your thigh, and you're gonna wrap around, hug the baby. Right arm reaches up and over. This is just a really nice flow, right? You want to try that one more time each side. Get your goddess in. We're sideways on mat. You don't have to do a whole bunch of chaturangas and up dogs and down dogs to get heat flowing in the body. We'll come to 5-pointed star. Okay, so while we're at 5-pointed star, just to remind you of the mudra, go ahead and release the hands down. So for steeple mudra, you crisscross the thumbs, index fingers point. And I'll demonstrate first and then we'll do this together. So since balance is something that you're working with and flowing with second chakra, so we're taking the stability of root
And now we're flowing with it with ease as we move into the fluidity of the water element. Inhale straight up. Lift the toes. You're pivoting on the heel. You'll turn the right toes forward. And don't reach all the way, but just reach as if you're coming into triangle. And then inhale up. Lift the toes. Turn the toes forward. And exhale, come down. And you're drawing a line straight up. Lift the toes. You're pivoting on the heel. Turn the left toes out. You're going to kick your right hip out. And then reach forward as if you were coming into triangle. Inhale. Back hand's lifting up. Lift your toes. Turn them in. Exhale. Release the hands down. So try that drill. It's a drill. A few more times. Lifting the toes and pivoting on the heel. This is actually very, very difficult for people. Reaching, reaching, reaching. So we're keeping the side body nice and active as well and not locking out in that front knee. And then backhand lifts you up. Lift the toes, pivot on the heel, lower the hands, draw that line up. Seagull drift. One more time. We can come back to this. Coming to center, and we'll step the left foot forward to meet the right top of the mat. So let us find our balls. We'll get those close by. And we can do our half move with the balls. Find your feet. Refresh your step. That one's from Marsha. The sensory awareness I bring in front of my yoga class. Refresh your step. No, I can't. And we'll reach up. So press your hands into the sides of the ball. Inner thighs will roll out. Release the tailbone down. Connect to your hara. And then over to the right. Half moon. Squeeze in the ball. Inhale, center. Over to the left. Your feet underneath you, screwing into the floor. Inhale. Over to the right. Center, inhale. Exhale, over to the left. Tailbone under. Maybe we'll look underneath your armpit up at the sky. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Soften the knees, inhale, center. Exhale, left. And center. And release down. Let's just bring that ball right to the hara. So this might give you a really nice visual of when we're concentrating on the dantian and the hara. This little red ball. Right here, below the navel, above the pubic bone, location of second chakra, and the culmination of Muladhara, Svadhisthana, and Manipura. See if you can breathe into your hara. And then moving from the hara, we'll come into chair. So we'll place the ball between our knees. So we have something to squeeze. And then if we were pregnant, I would probably practice more with the hands on the knees. Also, if we were working with anybody in chair with lower back injuries, this would be another approach to chair. And then your cats and your cows here in your chair pose. So curl the tailbone under, bone under, tailbone. Hollow out the hara. And then spill the belly forward. Draw the shoulder blades back. Cat and cow here in your chair pose. Just little movements. As you curl the tailbone under, feel the space that it creates in the lower back. That's good stuff. And if you really relax So you'll notice how the head wants to respond to this movement too. When you curl the tailbone under, your chin kind of wants to move towards chest, and that's okay. Let that happen. Heat building? Pretty good? Yeah? Good. Alright, we'll come on up. So we can place our balls down. Here would be where I bring in the eagle arms. We're standing, soften the knees, refresh your step, pick up your legs if you need it. And we'll bring the right arm underneath the left for eagle arms. And this is just great for getting in between the shoulders. What are those muscles called? Rhomboids. Yeah. You can lift and lower the elbows. If you wanted to make this more challenging, you could always step back into warrior one. That's always an option in your eagle arms. Relatively safe. And you can let the right ear come to the right shoulder, then roll the chin down to the chest, left ear, left shoulder. Lift and lower the elbows and heart. And then switch arms. So left arm underneath, right arm on top. Just notice the difference. Right shoulder, left shoulder. Lift the elbows up and down. And try and separate your elbows, like as if you're trying to pull them apart. You might do some circles with the elbows. Draw the thumbs towards your forehead and then away. Just give a little movement. And since we're all supposed to be pregnant, when we come out, we'll go ahead and take a quarter turn to the left and find the bar. So we got left, right. So you're gonna take your right leg, we're gonna come into chair, and so here's my bar. We're gonna come into chair, and then you're gonna take your right leg and wrap it over the left for eagle legs. So I would either bring them to the wall or have the bar go pregnant. And then sit low as if you were sitting back into a chair. At a fancy dinner party. Now, this might be painful if, let's say, you had varicose veins going on down there. My sister said it was the most painful thing she's ever experienced in her life. Inhale up. Alright, you might come back. Hold on to the bar and just take a nice back bend. And then we'll switch sides. So heart opener. Finding your chair, lifting the left leg. Now if eagle wasn't accessible, just lifting the heel on the left foot is fine. You can always just cross the knees. And your toe hook might not be accessible. Another variation is that figure 4, absolutely fantastic. Squeezing the inner thighs, getting the abductors. I don't need a fake belly. Okay. And then we'll stay facing this direction, but we'll bring in our blocks now and set them up. We'll come to the middle of the mat and just prepping for triangle now. We want to set at least two blocks up on the outside of the right ankle. And we have 4, right? So since we're in flow here, let's set 2 up on the outside of the right ankle and then 2 up on the outside of the left. And you might even pivot, lifting the toes, pivot on the heel, go side to side, kind of figuring out how far apart you want your feet in your triangle pose. And we're going to bring in that mudra flow. So, and releasing the fingers, reaching up. Turn the right toes towards the back of your mat. So lifting the toes, pivot on the heel, and we'll flow into our triangle pose. All sweet release now. You've got the block there. Soften the front knee, look down at your kneecap. Another great opportunity if you're with child to take your free arm on top, take hold of the belly, and roll the heart open. You might bring the free hand to the sacrum, drawing the hips forward. Femur head into socket. Activate your left glute. Drawing tailbone down. Left arm reaches up. Soften your front knee and come up to standing. If you'd like to come into goddess, you can draw both heels in, sit low. Your 5-pointed star, inhale. Release the hands down, interlace your fingers. Upward salute. When you get to the top, lift the left toes, turn them out, turn the right toes in. And transition into triangle pose. Alright, so you know the flow. 5 to 10 breaths in your triangle pose if it feels really good. Exploring. Some freedom of movement with your top hand. Now I wouldn't do this with the pregnant ladies, but instead that was the just reach. But if you were with normal, more towards intermediate to advanced, you could always reach both arms overhead here. And then try that flow one more time on each side, just to really ground that in. And I know it's a little tedious and detail oriented. Tree yoga really is. The vast majority of even long-time practitioners have a difficult time with tree yoga because of how much focus is required. And since we're pretty even, I'm not going to go through that flow again as we had planned out. We're pretty even, so there'd be no need to do that. So when you're done with your triangles, we'll meet back in a wide-legged forward fold. And we can bring our blocks to the front of the mat. You guys will turn your left toes out, and we'll bring the blocks to frame that left foot, and come into a low lunge. Finding the right knee on the ground. So your low lunges for your pregnant mamas. We all were a little surprised at how low lunge didn't feel good, and you had to take the knee out to the side. So the knee straight forward was a little difficult, but everything sort of on an angle was better in the prenatal classes. Which is something that you wouldn't think about until you're there, and then you're like, oh, that doesn't feel right. So from low lunge into your lizard, even better, and you might come onto your forearms. For balance sake, when you come out, heel toe your foot in and tuck the back toes, lift the knee, and we'll meet back in that wide-legged forward fold. Walk the hands over to the right foot. Turn the toes towards the back of your mat. Lower the left knee. Coming into your low lunge. Cancel the foot out for lizard. So you can work both. Turn the right toes in, take the blocks with you, tuck the back toes, lift the knee, wide-legged forward fold, and we'll come all the way back to that left foot. Step your right foot forward and we'll meet in Malasana. So one more time in our squat pose. Full circle on the mat. Rinse our moves out. We'll make our way onto our bottoms. So winding down. What?
Well, my hips are just sore from yesterday.
Oh yeah.
From lizard.
Lizard. And then all of these, making nice. Lots and lots of this with your pregnant ladies. How are we feeling?
Warm.
Good. So let's use that. And bring that right ankle onto the left knee for our figure fours. And you can turn the fingertips back behind you. You can use your right hand to press the knee away. And ankle rolls. Any opportunity to roll the wrists or the ankles. And flex the feet. And you can also rock from side to side. Feet down, windshield wiper. And we'll switch sides. I think at this point I would omit cow face. We've done enough. And it's well over an hour. Well over. But I do want to show you the cow face maneuvers because I meant to. So, and of course, we're all set up for it. This would be a perfect place to come in cow face. So if you would like, please feel free to. If not, just watch. So you're set up for it there, and everybody knows this one, right? From 200 Hour. You seen that one? It's so much fun. All right, so you can come into cow face on both sides. And nobody can do it the first couple times they try, and the first time they see it, they're like. So it's a crowd pleaser. You gotta lift the bottom and swivel on the feet. Now that's the hard part for people, and then trusting that if they just keep going, it will work out. But if that's not, because that's kind of Rajasic.
Rajasic?
Yes. It will pep everybody up. And if you're moving into, which we are, moving into chill zone, then that's not something that you would necessarily want to bring in if you're trying to induce a meditative state. So, but I had forgotten this for so long, and then when I was in Italy, she reminded me to cross one knee over the other and then open up the ankles and sit down on the block. So if you want to remember that one, and this might work for others. Just another way of coming into it.
Oh, I can actually do it now.
Ah, good. Happy that works.
I had forgotten about it. I was like, oh yeah, that's what I forgot.
Because normally I can't get in that.
This cow face, especially if the IT band and the glutes and the piriformis are tight, it's good.
I wasn't in it right. That's why I could do it.
How were you in it?
I was like, that's not right, is it? No.
It's not too far off though, because if you look at the Iyengar book, they're actually sitting on their heel.
I can't do that though.
No, that's this heel. That's the bottom one.
It's my knees. I can't.
That is different than how I was taught. I was taught to sit with the heels on the outside, and some people will actually have, just like in Lotus, they'll have their feet like out here. Like that's not happening for my body. But when I first came to yoga, this pose was excruciating, like anger, see red kind of anger. But then if you want to try it, you gotta keep your feet where they are and swivel around.
Good.
So cow face. Alright, so one more, two more. Alright. So we'll bring our feet out, make nice. Nice reverse tabletop just to refresh.
That is gonna be easy today.
Your salads are so bad.
And if you want to turn sideways on the mat, swivel on your bottom, take a quarter turn to the left and bring your heels out to the edge. I'm going to bring your blocks and your bolster with you. If we were pregnant, we need that space for the belly and a wide-legged forward fold. So I'd like to take this opportunity before we all snuggle in to show you what I would do with a dancer in this pose. And my dancer was Ashley Humphreys, a lifetime dancer, like so open, and to the point where it caused some problems for her physically. So what we did was we took, probably, make that a little bit bigger, but we'll try here first, and then if I need to readjust, we can. We took, lift your knee for me. So there was a little bit of support underneath the knee and she couldn't lock out. And then for this specifically, bringing in the straps to bring in the lower leg. So you can externally rotate your upper thighs. Is that as far as you can go? There. Okay. So now, arms long, hold on to the strap. Come all the way down, as far as you can. But still sit up straight. So you got some traction. So right there, yeah. And then flex your feet, toes pull back. And press into the big toe wall mound. So from the knee down, you're internally rotating. Flex, don't point. And internally rotate from the knee down. And from the knee up, externally rotate. And we'll bring that in to both. So sitting up tall and working the rotation of the leg.
I really ticklish me.
Oh, sorry. All right, so yeah. So press into the big toe ball mound. Actually, not so much. Little toe ball mound. On this side's different because you want to keep this side of the ankle nice and long too. There you go. And internally rotate from the knee down and externally rotate. Release tailbone down. There you go. And big toes in. Press the big toes into the strap. Draw your shoulder blades together, lift the heart. And then slowly, inch by inch, begin to fold forward. But keep that rotation working. And you can reach for your feet if that is big toes, if that's accessible.
thing for dancers is the flex.
Well, because
When
this is
they're
a
used to
demi
pointing.
point.
But the rolled up blankets underneath the knees helped Ashley find a deeper expression where she was feeling things more in the pelvic floor than she was before. Does that feel different for you, or is it same old, same old?
I mean, it feels like a stretch.
Good. So enjoy your ride like forward fold. Pregnant ladies? And then of course we could go into our from side to side, moving the bolster to one leg and then the other like we would in a yin class. Revolve. We are all set up pretty much for our Queen's pose again. So when you're ready to come out of this, then you can build yourself a little nest behind you. And try with the blanket this time to wrap it around you. There, I don't want to give you that story.
Now I'm really a queen.
You are a queen. You got a little blanket boa and everything. And the eye pillows are lovely. Yeah, try this too. So here's the other way. Like behind the lower back's one way, and then also you can switch it so that it's here. Is it? Hold on. Is it under? Oh, yeah, it is under. Yes. It's the other way.
So,
I can go either way. So you have options.
oh, I just thought I tried it.
That's if like the ankles were an issue. Feels like it's in the We're preparing. So we've done some asana. Asana is designed to prepare us for a meditative state. To free up energy flow in the body, kind of use up any excess energy, burn off the dross a little bit.